It was Northern California in the late 1960s. A time of change, a time of revolution, and a time when anything seemed possible. The streets of San Francisco were alive with energy, music, protests, and dreams of a new era. But beneath the bright lights and vibrant crowds, a darkness was growing. A shadow moved silently through the streets, unseen by the people who walked past him. Invisible, untraceable, he watched, he waited, and when he struck, terror followed. No one knew who he was, where he came from, or what he wanted. The city had no idea that fear itself had taken a name. A name that would haunt the streets, the newspapers, and the minds of every resident for years to come. This was the beginning of the Zodiac Killer. The first known victims were teenagers parked at Lake Herman Road in December 1968. It was a quiet night, the kind of night where the city holds its breath. Shot at close range, the teenagers had no warning, no time to react. The killer vanished before anyone could see him. The police were baffled, the townsfolk terrified. Reports spread quickly. A lone gunman, cold and calculating. No motive, no clue, only a terrifying certainty. Someone was hunting, and he had no intention of stopping. The city's sense of safety shattered in an instant. And so began the reign of the Zodiac Killer, a man who would haunt Northern California for years to come. Then the letters began arriving. Typed, cryptic, threatening. Some contained drawings, others had puzzles no one could solve. Each letter was signed with a chilling symbol. A circle with a cross, the mark of the Zodiac. The letters mocked the police, taunted the public, and demanded attention. He wanted fear. He wanted control. The newspapers printed his words, unknowingly spreading terror. And the city began to feel the grip of a new kind of menace. One that hid in words, in symbols, in puzzles that only he could solve. One letter contained a cipher, a puzzle designed to confuse, challenge, and terrify. Weeks passed as cryptographers and amateur detectives struggled to decode it. When it was finally cracked, the message shocked everyone. I like killing because it is so much fun. A statement cold, detached, and utterly terrifying. It revealed the mind of someone who did not just commit murder, but savored it. The city learned a hard truth. The Zodiac Killer was clever, methodical, and always one step ahead. The killings continued. He struck with precision, choosing victims seemingly at random. His methods varied, but the terror was constant. Police forces worked tirelessly, but he always vanished before they could act. The public became anxious, fearful to drive, to park, to walk alone at night. Each crime scene left questions with no answers. Each letter, each cipher, another thread in a web that no one could untangle. The city was paralyzed, gripped by a man who had turned fear into an art form. He was not content to communicate only through letters. He called the police directly, laughing, mocking, leaving them desperate for a lead. "This is the Zodiac speaking," he would say, calm, chilling, unbothered. Every call reminded the authorities that he was watching, always in control. No one knew when or where he would strike next. And the citizens began to realize. The Zodiac Killer was more than a man. He was an idea, a terror that could not be captured, a ghost that haunted the streets of San Francisco. Some ciphers were solved, some remain unsolved to this day. He reveled in complexity, knowing that only he understood the hidden meanings. Detectives spent hours staring at strings of letters and numbers, trying to find patterns. And yet, the Zodiac always stayed one step ahead. It was a game, a deadly, terrifying game. Each letter, each symbol, each cipher, a challenge to those who sought to catch him. He made the city his playground, and fear his weapon. Witnesses described a man calm, composed, almost ordinary in appearance. Yet beneath the surface, there was a cold, calculating predator. He moved with precision, disappearing into the night without a trace. Police efforts to catch him failed repeatedly. Every lead ended in frustration. Every clue slipped through their fingers. And the legend of the Zodiac grew, feeding the city's fear with each escape. Over the years, hundreds of suspects were investigated. Interviews, interrogations, and endless speculation. Yet no one was ever confirmed. Each theory collapsed under scrutiny. The Zodiac remained a shadow, a mystery that refused to be solved. The killings became case files, the letters preserved in archives, and the name, Zodiac, etched into the history of unsolved crime. Decades later, some letters survive. Some ciphers remain unsolved. Historians and amateur detectives still study them, hoping for a clue. The fear he instilled, the city remembers. San Francisco still whispers his name. The Zodiac Killer became more than a criminal. He became a symbol of mystery, terror, and human curiosity. Was he a disturbed loner? A military-trained killer? Or a ghost who simply vanished? Thousands have speculated, yet no one knows for certain. Books, documentaries, podcasts, they all examine the evidence, but every answer leads to more questions. The man who terrorized a city became a riddle that continues to baffle generations. The Zodiac Killer became legend, not for what he left behind, but for the fear, the mystery, and the unanswered questions. He vanished into history, leaving only his letters, his ciphers, and his name. Some secrets are never meant to be solved, and maybe that is exactly how he wanted it. Thanks for watching. If you like dark, mysterious stories, please follow us on YouTube.